Well, sorry this review is late, but I mean, AEW WrestleDream came and went, and nothing really exciting happened on this pay-per-view. I mean, I would say
No,
nothing really exciting, but I mean, this is an
nothing
AEW,
big.
this is an AEW podcast after all, so we got about 32, 33 matches to go through, Tomas. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a long
It
one,
has
so
been a very, 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 very busy month when it comes to professional wrestling, especially when it comes to AEW. I feel like it was just a little over a month ago we got the biggest show in their history. I'm not going to say the biggest show in wrestling history, especially when that realistic attendance came out and considering, you know, a lot of other factors in here. But we got that. We got a very, 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 very underlooked and underrated pay-per-view and All Out. Literally the following week, that
loved
was
it.
followed by Grand Slam. And now we have a brand new pay-per-view in WrestleDream because rumor around the mill is that Warner Brothers Media wants AEW to start producing more pay-per-views. And that
Yep.
is a blessing and a curse, in my opinion, because anyone who wants to sit there and, make fun of WWE for always giving in to, Fox and USA and to, the sponsors and now, the TKO merge and all that stuff. Here we have Tony Khan doing the exact same thing, and he has big suits and ties, big producers that he needs to impress in order to, keep TV deals, keep media rights deals, if they want to get this streaming deal underway. And that leads to something like this, which could be considered a good thing. I'm all for more content, especially in AEW's case, but
Me too.
let's just say the wallet is crying because this isn't 2006 anymore, ladies and gentlemen, and we don't pay $50 a month for pay-per-views. And I'm sorry, not even the almighty AEW can keep up with the quality if these things are going to be coming once a month. There's only so much you can do to make these things exciting and, worth the pretty penny. And that's probably one of my biggest criticisms of this pay-per-view. I feel like as I started watching it, the aura that was AEW pay-per-views, the fact that we only got like 4 to 5 of these years max, started to wither away a little because I'm going to be honest, and I know I'm in the minority. This felt like a 3-hour Dynamite.
I mean, yeah, there are a couple of matches on here that we'll get to. I don't even know if it's worth going through the buy-in matches. I know Claudio wrestled a match on this, but
we'll go through the results, but neither of us were able to watch this thing live.
No.
And that is because this past Friday in Sacramento, I was at SmackDown, and this past Monday, we were both at Monday Night Raw. Both were very fun shows. We had a really good time. I mean, I got to witness both John Cena and LA Knight. Cena surprised us with a bonus match after the show, and he wrestled Dominic Mysterio. We also got a Raw dark main event in Seth Rollins versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight title, which was, it was all right by dark match standards. Rollins retained the title via disqualification. We got to see, we weren't expecting Gunther to defend the Intercontinental title against Tommaso Ciampa on our show, but I feel like our show was also riddled with injuries and absences. We were supposed to get Jey Uso versus Damian Priest, and then when the show opened, it was revealed Priest had a minor injury that kept him wrestling, but he will be at the pay-per-view. Finn Balor was just not there for some reason. Becky Lynch went down with an injury after NXT No Mercy, so her women's championship defense against Tegan Knox got knocked off the show.
It was postponed.
It was postponed. It felt very card subject to change. And I feel like our show was missing some stars. We missed Balor. We needed to see Jay wrestle. What really annoyed me during our show is that they ran Do What We're Going to Get. Not one single match was advertised. We were getting advertised Drew McIntyre on Miz TV. We were getting advertised interview with Seth Rollins. We were getting advertised.
Which we got.
Yeah, we were advertised like what? Someone's going to speak. And, I kind of got a little annoyed and I'm just like, how about you announce a fucking match because your main event got scrapped? Oh, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Nowhere to be seen.
Nope. Nowhere.
That's probably the biggest disappointment on my end.
Interesting, yeah. But regardless, Raw is always a fun time. If WWE comes to your area, definitely go and see them live because there's nothing like it.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be like
AEW for that matter too. If they come around to your neck of the woods, definitely go and support them. Support pro wrestling. I am here supporting both. I am not a tribal cuck for either company, but in any case.
But no, I just want, this is something I kind of like realized as I went to both of these shows. You know, people need to realize, I mean, WWE needs to realize, and I know you can't deliver every single week, but we kind of take time and money, especially out of our lives, to go to these shows. If certain stars aren't going to be there, if it's something out of our control, like an illness or an injury, that's one thing. But if you're not booking, you know, it's kind of like, I mean, I feel bad for the crowd that missed out on LA Knight the week prior. He had COVID, that's understandable. But if you're not going to book the big guys, like SmackDown for me, most of the show was like, made me nervous because I went with a friend that doesn't watch wrestling. She was just there for the experience. And, you know, it was very awkward to sit there and watch Jimmy Uso versus Carl Anderson, you know, for 2 minutes. And I'm like, come on, WWE, you got to like, we're going out of our way to watch the show. I didn't pay $60 for, you know, 2-minute matches. And then we got Lashley on the Grayson Waller effect. Like nothing says excitement like that. It's like, I don't know. It's something I was thinking about. Like, you know, you got to make at least most of these shows worth the while. I don't feel like there should be such a thing as a throwaway Raw or a throwaway SmackDown because, it's on free TV or throwaway pay-per-view for that matter.
You know, it's funny you say that because I feel like we're going to have very differing opinions on WrestleDream, which Tony Khan did announce was going to be a yearly thing from now on as a tribute to the late, great Antonio Inoki. I really dug this show. I mean, it's not on the same level as a Revolution or an All Out, in my personal opinion, but I think the ending of this pay-per-view, for me at least, on a personal note, I think it really propels this show into at least the upper half in terms of quality for AEW this year.
I will say I like All Out more than I like this show.
Oh, no, me too. Me too.
The last thing I'm going to say on the matter is that damn, I kind of lost my train of thought there. It's okay. It's not your fault.
No, it's good.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it was because I was, you know, pretty sleep deprived watching the show. So again, my perspective may be, you know, take with a grain of salt. And understand that, you know, everyone's going to have their opinions. It's just, this show didn't hit hard as me for other people as it did. You know, my memory is a little cloudy on some of these matches, but there are a couple of matches that I really, really, really liked on the show. And we will run through the results of the I know what I was going to say. Like, no, I mean, whoever went to this show, you know, I'm sure they had a great time. It was a action-packed show.
And where was it? Where was it?
Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle. Shout out to Seattle. I love it.
Also, the other thing I wanted to say is, and it's not that I'm opposed to more pay-per-views. I mean, first of all, you either got to discount them or get that streaming service going on. But Tony Khan, spread them apart. You know, burnout is a thing. And if you're going to make us watch, you know, 4 to 5 pay-per-views in the span of like 2 to 3 months with like 14 match cards, like that's a lot of content to consume. And it's like, you know, that's like if WWE did WrestleMania 2 weeks later, the Royal Rumble 2 weeks after that, Money in the Bank. And it's like, you know, you got to give the fans a chance to breathe. I mean, there's nothing wrong with more content. It's just spread them apart. You know,
you got to get us excited.
Have another pay-per-view AEW coming up next month, and it's starting to become overkill.
You know, it's funny because you mentioned that Tony Khan was kind of giving in to the neckties, and who were basically asking AEW to give him one pay-per-view a month. Is it really all that surprising, though? I feel like they were going to go down this route eventually because keep in mind, Tony Khan is a gigantic mark for the business, just like both of us here watching on the screen right now. But Tony Khan, you also got to remember, comes from a business family. His father owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Tony Khan knows how to make AEW money. And you know what? More power to him. If he's a big mark with a lot of money and a fat wallet in his hand, like, if you want to make competition for WWE, hey, the fans win. The fans win.
The bigger AEW gets, and it's just an unfortunate fact of life, the more they're going to have to give in to the things that we don't like. Because you can make fun of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch matches all you want. AEW has been doing the same thing with the Ninja Turtles and the what was it, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre match. It's like,
the Elite coming out to the Space Jam theme song. You remember
exactly.
that?
They're gonna have to give into that kind of stuff, because if Tony Khan's gonna be offered money, by these sponsorships, like, he'd be stupid to not take it. Yeah,
exactly.
It's annoying. You look at a lot of YouTube content creators, and they have to, quote unquote, sell out to promote Raid Shadow Legends and Raycon earbuds, and it's like, yeah, it's annoying and we hate it, but
that's how they pay their bills.
Yeah,
that's how they pay their bills. Which, speaking of, if you want to join the family, subscribe and hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed what you heard.
Absolutely. But
yeah,
let's quickly run through the results of this buy-in show. None of us watched it, but
no.
It looks like Athena, Billy Starks, Keith Lee, and Kojima defeated Shane Taylor Promotions. Yeah, Keith Lee is doing really fucking well in AEW, isn't he?
Triple H wants him back, man.
I want him back too. Claudio Castagnoli defeated Josh Barnett, Seattle native. I haven't seen too much of Josh Barnett, but I feel like this is just a victim of Tony Khan just the night before, like, hey, here's this big star in the show. We don't have time to digest that. Luchasaurus beat Nick Wayne in less than 5 minutes. I feel like that's just adding on to the story that we're going to be talking on later on.
Long-term storytelling.
Acclaimed retained the trios titles against TMDK, which is Zack Sabre Jr.'s group. And it looks like that's what happened there. And now we are ready to jump into the show with a very polarizing match, in my opinion.
Yes, AEW WrestleDream, October 1st from the Climate Pledge Arena in lovely Seattle, Washington, home of the... Yeah, go Seahawks, by the way. Our first match is a handicap match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. MJF, who, reminder, is still the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, is defending against the Righteous. Okay, how do we get to this point? How did this become a handicap match? Unfortunately, Adam Cole, during Grand Slam, during a routine spot, just walking down the ramp and jumping off of the little platform, he fractured his ankle. And Adam Cole is going to be out for a while. All the best to him. I hope he makes a speedy recovery and we see him in an AEW ring back again sooner rather than later.
Do you think this is legit, or do you think the injury is exaggerated?
No, it's legit. It is 100% legit. Yeah, no, because he said many times on Twitter, hey, I have to have another surgery. Dr. Britt Baker has said the injury is legit. And Adam Cole...
No, I'm not saying the whole injury is worse. I'm just saying, yeah, Cole's hurt, but do you think it's a little exaggerated? You know what I mean?
I don't...
Maybe he'll be back sooner than everyone thinks. He's making it sound like he's going to be gone for 6 months. Who's to say he's not back in
I mean, he's... So it's October right now. He's definitely out through the next month because he had to cancel an indie booking that he had for Deadlock Pro Wrestling, where he was going to take on the debuting Kris Danger, YouTube sensation there. But
fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah, I freaking love Kris Danger.
Guys. Yeah. I know the DPW guys were fucking hyped to have Adam Cole on the show and to have that, have the rug pulled out from that fucking sucks.
Not only that, have you watched Kris Danger on YouTube? This guy's been working so freaking hard to actually make his 2K My Career guy into a wrestler. And it's so freaking cool. It's such a neat idea. I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for Kris Danger so much. But yeah, Adam Cole was...
My other question is, do they keep the AEW World title on MJF throughout this entire injury just to resume the story? Or do you kind of improvise?
Yes, you do. Because, MJF has a big slate of heels that he can go through. It has been confirmed that he is wrestling Switchblade Jay White at the Kia Forum in November during Full Gear. That should be a great match. But here he is in the opener defending against the Righteous. He cuts a promo, a pretty scathing babyface promo on the Righteous, basically saying that I'm going to shove your head up Dutch's ass. I'm going to hit you, Dutch, with a body slam. And
so, 2 points I want to make. First of all, another storyline element is at the end of Dynamite last week, Switchblade Jay White was attacked by the Devil Mask. We know that MJF is the Devil Mask. And MJF came out with this promo, and he denied the attack on White. He said somebody went to his locker room and stole the mask, and he seems pretty heated about that. That's an interesting element. Is MJF
it is an interesting element.
Or somebody else the Devil Mask? I feel like that's going to keep everybody on their toes because I really, really dig the fact that MJF is really blurring the lines with this babyface turn, because we've seen it time and time again. He has kind of like, faked everyone out with the babyface turn on 2 occasions now. And now that it looks legit, there is this element of it could be not,
He still doesn't trust that MJF is a babyface. That's basically his long-winded answer.
I do think MJF is doing a really good job of blurring the lines.
I'm convinced. I'm convinced, man. I mean, call me a stupid idiot all you want, but I think MJF is the hottest babyface in the business, not named LA Knight right now. But
I think he's acting like the hottest babyface.
Because he is. He is.
I said it time and time again, especially in the match with the Dark Order. He pulled out every single babyface trope known to mankind.
Yep, and he does eventually hit the body slam on Dutch, which is not an easy thing to do.
The match, there is something about this promo and this match that I did not like.
Go ahead.
You know what? This is going to be a very harsh term used, but it's the burial of Ring of Honor talent. Because I have watched The Righteous before. I know they were an overact in Ring of Honor. I used to think they were resembling a little too much like the Wyatt family. And I was a little nervous to watch this match because, the death of Bray Wyatt is still very fresh in all of our minds.
Mm-hmm.
Once they made this entrance, I was like, no, they're nothing like the Wyatt family. But they are a tag team, a legit tag team. And the fact that MJF is coming out there and saying he's going to single-handedly whoop their asses, which, spoiler alert, he does. I don't think that makes the Righteous look good at all. No,
the Righteous...
It really doesn't. The fact that Tony Khan is making all of these Ring of Honor tag teams or Ring of Honor talent death fodder for his AEW guys, it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Little bit. Remember when everybody was theorizing that Vincent was under the Uncle Howdy mask? And honestly, I kind of wish he was under the Uncle Howdy mask at this point. But, I mean, obviously, Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas, as I've said many times before. But don't you think that Uncle Howdy could use some new followers? Vincent and Dutch could come in and Triple H would know how to use them, man, because the Righteous definitely looks like chumps for MJF, which, honestly, it's not that surprising because your world champion should not be losing a match like this. He should not.
Yeah, and I just feel like also Tony Khan is prioritizing these Ring of Honor tag team titles over the world championship on pay-per-view. This is the second pay-per-view in a row MJF has not defended that title.
Yeah, well,
against Samoa Joe at Grand Slam.
You also got to remember, sorry to cut you off, but you also got to remember that this was supposed to be him and Adam Cole. So, I mean, I guess they went through with the match because it was already advertised before Adam Cole got hurt.
And also, how long can MJF hold the titles by himself? Because the longer that goes, the more ridiculous it's going to get.
Yeah.
It's just, he either needs to find a replacement, or I know Tony Khan doesn't want to sacrifice this. It's kind of like when Bryan Danielson won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, and he had that concussion, and WWE was like, that was such a huge moment. We don't want to strip him, but if he's really that hurt, we have no choice. So they let him hold the title for 2 more months without defending it. And then, they kind of got to a point where I'm sorry guys, we have no choice. It's kind of like this, but on a worse scale because it's tag team titles. You're really going to spit in the face of tag team wrestling by oh, no, my storyline, it can't be ruined. No, I'm sorry. Yes, it sucks. Injuries happen and they fucking suck, but you can't bury your whole tag team division. You can't bury the titles, And
you can't bury the Righteous. You can't bury the Righteous.
Brandon is great right now, probably, seeing that the tag team titles are being held by one fucking person.
It's crazy. It's crazy, because I still had a lot of fun with this match despite all of that. Dutch looked like a freaking monster in there. He's hitting MJF with a perfect bossman slam that I feel like Ray Traylor would be so proud of if he were around to this day. MJF.
How would you feel?
Yeah.
If you replaced the Righteous with Malachi Black and Brody King?
Oh, God. Oh, man.
How would you feel if it was booked the same exact way, but like this? I think that's the point I'm trying to get across. You make a good point with Dutch looking very good in there. Why should these guys be death fodder for MJF? I'm sorry. It's really bugging me. The booking of this match really fucking bugging me.
No, I get you. But MJF ends up hitting a body slam on Dutch. He shoves Vincent face first into Dutch's ass, as he said in the promo.
That's
and then
what did it for me, honestly. That's
yeah,
what fucking did it for me.
He's a babyface, though. The crowd loved it, including him doing a kangaroo kick.
No fucking idea why he started doing that.
I mean, he poses like a chipmunk and he does a split-legged drop kick. It's a kangaroo kick, you know. How does that get so over?
Babyface, it's textbook babyface stuff, and that's what I'm saying. It's very one-dimensional.
He's a babyface.
Pulling the wool over everyone's eyes.
Yeah. So this is a handicap match that went 8 minutes, and MJF hits Dutch with the Heat Seeker DDT, and he pins Dutch 1, 2, 3. But just to remind you that he is a scumbag, he has his feet on the ropes, and the referee does not see it. Bryce Remsburg, who's been reffing all of MJF's matches this year, he looks up and he's like, what? Wait, did he put his feet on the ropes? But yeah, MJF retains. I mean, this was
match. I'm going to match 2.5 stars. It was pretty standard. I like the match with Dark Order more, but then again,
me
that
too.
was an actual tag team match.
Me too. And the match actually ended with a double clothesline, and I would have been very impressed if MJF was able to end this with a double clothesline of his own. But yeah, it was still pretty entertaining, though. I'm going to give it 2 3/4 stars, bonus points for MJF's antics. But yeah, pretty standard opener. The Dark Order match was better.
It was pretty standard, and like I said, it's the booking of this match that really did it for me.
He's a mark for the righteous, is what he's saying too.
I like the righteous, and if Tony Khan is going to make us pay $9.99 a month to watch Ring of Honor, you think MJF is showing up on Ring of Honor television? No, he's not.
No.
What are you paying $9.99 to watch? A bunch of guys I can watch on TV for free.
Eddie Kingston, Katsuyori, Shibata. Yeah, Shibata. Samoa Joe. Yeah. Speaking of Ring of Honor.
Fucking MJF and Adam Cole. Fucking, you get my point. The only one is Athena. And I'm sorry, I love Athena, and this is the best. Athena should not have to be paid for to watch. She should be enjoyed by all of us.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Anywho, speaking of the Ring of Honor World Championship, god damn, is this a Ring of Honor show or something? The new Ring of Honor World Champion, Eddie Kingston, is defending both the Ring of Honor World title and the New Japan Strong Championship against Katsuyori Shibata, the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. You think we got enough titles in this company?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you think we got enough acronyms in this company? Why are there so many fucking titles?
Eddie Kingston finally defeated Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World Championship about
Thank
7
God.
months too late on Grand Slam. It was a great feel. It was a great moment, let me tell you. Even though the match was spoiled for me, I still watched it, and I was so happy for him. Eddie is such an inspiration to people that look like him, that want to get into the business. He is the definition of, if you are passionate enough, if you work hard enough, who gives a fuck how much you weigh? Who gives a fuck what you look like? Who gives a fuck where you're from? You can do it. And I love the moment. What I don't like is Tony Khan's, this frame of mind he has when it's like, oh, I'm going to book this thing and I'm not going to give the payoff it deserves. And instead of building off of that, I'm just going to skip right to the end. It's like if you watched, what's a good example? It's like if you watched Infinity War, all of Infinity War, and then you got to that ending, and then you turn on Endgame, and then you skip to the portal scene. It's like that.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a little annoying how like one day Tony Khan was like, oh shoot, I need to put the title on Kingston. Let's book this match for Grand Slam. Either it should have happened sooner, or they should have actually built to it on TV.
Yeah, Supercard of Honor would have been a good place to do it, don't you think?
Let me ask you something. What did Claudio Castagnoli do with that Ring of Honor title ever since that show?
Nothing. All he did was like team up with the Blackpool Combat Club and be another body in there for Anarchy in the Arena Stadium Stampede, which it sucks that I'm saying that as a huge mark for Claudio. Like this company, like
Death Before Dishonor, he defended against Pac.
Yeah.
Who was it said Eddie and Pac wouldn't have been a good match?
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know.
But
It's like, I don't understand. Yeah, you get our point though. But Kingston is now the champion. It's awesome. He's also the strong champion, which I don't know. I feel like him just winning the world title would have been a little better. Oh my God, Tony Khan like makes my fucking head spin. But he's defending against Shibata. He's also defending both the championships, the Openweight Championship and the Ring of Honor World Title.
Winner take all.
I mean, I love when Kingston wrestles Japanese people because they just chop the shit out of each other for 10 minutes straight. And there was a lot of that here. But I feel like this match just didn't have any heat to it. There was no build. Like Shibata just came out on Collision and used his Google Translator, which I think is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
To say he's challenging Kingston for the world title.
Well, you know why this match had no heat, right? Because they're both baby faces. They're both baby faces. The crowd didn't know who to cheer for.
Well, here's the thing. One night prior on NXT No Mercy, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin opened the show, a heel versus heel match, and the crowd was fucking hot for it.
Yeah.
Because that match had fucking build on TV. Had a good 3-week build.
A good 3-week build as opposed to what? Eddie Kingston winning on Grand Slam and then the next Saturday on Collision? That basically means what? Like a week and a half worth of build?
Do you remember Unforgiven 2006? 1 week after CM Punk won the ECW title, and he just randomly faced the Pope with no heat whatsoever. This is what this felt like.
That was a great match, too. Say what you want about Punk, but yeah, that was a great match.
Pope beat the shit out of him.
Good.
Pope beat the fucking shit out of him.
Punk probably deserved it in 2007, but...
Anywho, Shibata and Kingston, it was a decent match. I really didn't think it was anything special.
I enjoyed it. And it's also because Kingston and Shibata have been teaming up for so fucking long that it was actually kind of refreshing to see them go against each other for a change. Eddie Kingston goes in there and Kingston really is like our generation's Tommy Dreamer. Like, this is a guy that we want to root for. This is a guy who doesn't look like your typical superstar on a big stage, not a typical world champion. He goes in there and proves everybody wrong. And the crowd all loves him.
The difference is Kingston actually fucking wins his matches.
And he's from Yonkers also. Like, yeah. I think he's from Yonkers, right? I could be wrong, but
Eddie is the kind of guy I wish I would have been friends with in high school.
Yeah.
He fucking loves wrestling.
He does. But he hits Shibata with a stiff-ass powerbomb, which you gotta be careful with a guy with a fragile head like Shibata. But Eddie pins him after an 11-minute match. Very physical. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I enjoyed how refreshing it was. Crowd wasn't into it nearly as much as they probably could have been, but for what it was, I dug it.
I'm also gonna give this 2.25, 2.5.
Ooh.
Let's go with 2.5. Yeah, again, the match really didn't have any heat to it. It was good, but I feel like, again, all wrestling matches can be good. You know what makes them great? Great storytelling. Great build.
Yeah.
Give me a reason to care about this match. I can go on YouTube and watch good wrestling until I'm blue in the face. But am I going to feel anything? What's the difference between this and Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn?
Right. Yeah. Oh, of course.
I'm pissing off a lot of fucking AEW fans with this.
Well, it's not just that, Tomas. It's the combination of great storytelling and great wrestling, because Roman and Sammy is still one of my favorite matches of 2023. Not just because of the storytelling. Both Roman and Sammy are phenomenal wrestlers, and they're a great match for each other. So I think it's not just a sense of great wrestling, which was WWE's problem for a while, and lack of storytelling, which is AEW's problem now, apparently. But it's a combination. You got to have storytelling, and you got to have great wrestling.
Fantastic fucking wrestlers. They
are.
But you got to. Any show, it's going to be good. But what makes it great is the storytelling. To quote one of my favorite YouTubers, Donkey, you guys are so mad right now.
Yeah. All the
people mad on this review.
All the AEW cucks in the comments are going to be really freaking triggered with you. But anyhow, up next is for the TBS Championship. It's Kris Statlander defending against Julia Hart from the House of Black, who is on a 28-match winning streak going into this match, which is...
when did that happen? Did I go into a fucking coma or something? That's right. None of those matches happened on TV.
Rampage, Dark, probably the house show circuit. I don't know, but
you know what would have been a lot better if I would have saw every single one of those matches on Dynamite.
Right.
Just saying. Just saying.
Just saying.
AEW. Just
Yeah.
fucking saying.
Nothing that happens on Dark should count for anything. Like, the ranking system should be gone, but holy women's, like, can I get this out real quick? Holy women's wrestling, Batman. This was a really, really freaking good match, and I'm starting to become such a huge mark for Kris Statlander. I think she is awesome. The fact that she beat Jade Cargill and sent her packing to the big dub, like, I love her. I love Kris Statlander. I love the fact that she plays an alien on TV. I love the fact that she teams up with. I mean, she's always going to be an alien, but she's going up against a dark, brooding Julia Hart, and it's like, yes. But this is
okay. Here's my issue. Again, going back to the whole, we never got to see this build, because I think what Julia Hart is doing right now is fucking great. I think it's awesome that they are building a new women's star. But again, it's the progression. Last time I saw Julia Hart, she was just their valet. Now all of a sudden, she's a strong opponent for Kris Statlander. Again, just went from here to here in like 5 seconds flat, and it's great. I just wish I would have saw the progression, because again, I love what they're doing with her. I love the theme music. I love the presentation. But watching this match, it couldn't just bother me. It's like, how come all of a sudden I'm supposed to look at her as a threat?
Yeah.
As opposed to someone like, Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley 2 years ago, she was good. But you look at her now, and she's one of the most protected, one of the most strongest, one of the biggest stars in WWE.
Just
think again, if I would have saw that progression, I probably would have seen Julia Hart more as a threat here. But like you said, Kris Statlander is great. She has become the workhorse for AEW. I feel like the TBS Championship has become like that workhorse title. It's meant for the really, really, really good women's wrestling matches, as opposed to the Women's World Championship, which I don't know what the fuck they're doing with that right now. It's like, it's booking hell.
Yeah, but, we haven't had a Women's World title match since All In on pay-per-view, have we? Since Saraya won the belt?
Not.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Saraya defended against Toni Storm at Grand Slam.
Yeah.
That match. The only thing I have to say about that match was, who the fuck was I supposed to cheer for?
Timeless Toni Storm, obviously, but anyway.
No, but who the fuck was I supposed to cheer for? Because it was so.
You're right, but
this was one of the better AEW women's matches. I did dig this match. I thought there was also a couple of really close near falls, which made me think for a second, like, fuck it, give Julia the title.
Yeah, Kris Statlander we knew was a great wrestler, but Julia Hart came to play, man. Like, she was not messing around. She was doing Antonio Inoki hip tosses and abdominal stretches. Nigel McGuinness on commentary is saying that he popularized that move back in the day. Julia Hart locks on her heartless submission. Kris Statlander, because she is a beast, turns it over, gets back up. She hits a vicious and totally unsafe-looking tombstone on Julia Hart. Then she hits the Sunday Night Fever, pinfall, 10 minutes, solid women's wrestling, 3.5 stars. Really dug it.
It really was. It was super fun, and I really dug that finish. I love Statlander's. I love that finish. The Sunday Night Fever.
Yeah, the Sunday Night Fever. Yeah, she should do a dance before she hits it. She should do a dance, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do miss the Big Bang Theory, and I do miss that gimmick, but this match was good. I feel like this is what happens when you book women's wrestling good. this was really good. I'm going to give it 3.25 stars. This was one of, again, the better women's workhorse matches. That's probably the best way to put it. It was a women's workhorse match.
Strong 10-minute match that is one of the better 10-minute women's matches you're going to see this year. After the match, Julia Hart suffers her first loss in a while, and she is carried. Yeah, well, she is carried. She is carried out, and she is completely ragdolling the selling. It's so great. Brody King, who is at ringside the entire time, is carrying Julia Hart up the ramp, and it's just, yeah. No, I dug it. Man.
All right, next up. Do you guys like flippy dippy shit?
Yep.
Some flippy dippy shit.
I do.
Fatal 4-way tag team match to determine the number one contenders for the AEW World Tag Team titles. You got the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Lucha Bros, Penta, El Zero Miedo, and the international champion Ray Fenix. The Ass Boys, the Gun Boys, Austin and Colton, and Orange Cassidy and Hook. One of these things is not like the other.
Orange Cassidy and Hook is some random tag team.
Here's my point. Taz on commentary, Tony Schiavone on commentary says Orange Cassidy and Hook are the favorites to win this match. Why does Tony Khan prioritize these random tag teams when you got 3 established tag teams in the ring? That was my biggest fear in this match, that Orange Cassidy and Hook were going to get the win.
Especially since Orange Cassidy just main evented All Out with Jon Moxley. Like, why wouldn't you put him over? Why wouldn't you put him over to give him some momentum?
Tag team?
Yeah, why not?
Why not propel that? You know what I want to see? I want to see MJF and Orange Cassidy for the world title.
Could you imagine?
Capitalize on this momentum.
I mean, that's a problem because MJF's a babyface right now, and you can't exactly do that. But
yeah, you can. Why
anyway,
can't you do a face versus face match?
Yeah, no. So he admits he's a babyface. Yeah, see, I just put him in the corner. But
in context, he's pretending to be a babyface right now.
Yeah, no, because he is a babyface. But
this was nothing I couldn't see on Dynamite or Collision. All these teams are great. This was fun. There was some crazy stuff in here. But you know what? I've seen it all before.
I absolutely adored the Northern Lights suplex trade-off that Matt Jackson had with Hook. And say what you want about Hook. Say locomotion. Yeah. Say what you want about Hook not being as over as Dominic Mysterio and what have you, but Hook is really starting to come into his own in my eyes as a in-ring performer. I think he's really solid. Great man.
I just want him to be booked more consistently.
Yeah.
There's not enough TV time every week to give every single guy the spotlight, but I feel like you got to pick and choose here. And if Hook is the guy you want to be your star, I need to see him every week.
Yeah, don't need to see them every week. But this is a match involving the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers. And unfortunately, Fenix, who just won the international title from Jon Moxley, went down with an injury in this thing. He took a spot. The trainers were attending to him, and then, 2 seconds later, he vanishes from ringside. And Penta works the rest of this match by himself, which is not a good sign.
You think this international title is starting to get a little cursed?
Maybe a little bit. Let's
talk about this real quick. Fenix, why is Fenix the champion after Jon Moxley just won it? Well, Moxley was defending against Fenix at Grand Slam, and Moxley took a nasty fucking pile driver to the point where he could not move. And the referee made one of the worst calls I've ever seen in my life and just did not count the pin. So much to the point that Moxley was even pissed off. And he said, "What the fuck are you doing? Count the fuck," And I know this isn't new. We've seen this plenty of times in WWE. So I don't know why now it's starting to become such a big deal. But it was pretty bad. So Fenix had to pile drive Moxley again. And they had to call an audible. They had to put the title on Fenix. They had no other choice but to do it.
They did.
But now Fenix is kind of like your quote-unquote interim champion. He was the champion, we weren't expecting, and now he's getting injured in this match. That fucking sucks.
It does.
It don't want to see him get hurt.
Really fucking sucks, dude. But Penta really held his own once the match, kind of became as chaotic as it should be in a fatal 4-way tag team match where tags should not fucking matter. But these idiots were still standing on the apron, and the Ass Boys,
some structure.
Yeah, well, the Ass Boys were isolating Hook. They were getting heat on Hook. The Bang Bang Gang is getting heat on Taz's son.
Bullet Club Gold.
I know what I fucking said, but
wait, did you just say Billy Gunn's kids were kicking Taz's kid's ass?
Oh,
man, I feel old.
Good God. Oh, could you?
Man, all the wrestlers I grew up watching, their kids are now wrestling. Wow. And
who had that on their bingo cards? The Guns going up against Hook?
And Ray's kid is the most overkill in the business. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Holy fucking shit, man.
Anybody feel old yet? Anybody who grew up in the ruthless aggression era like us? Anybody feel old yet? Raise your hand. But anyway, Orange hits a Superman punch on Austin Gunn. He applies the red rum. Hook applies the red rum, rather. Could you imagine Orange Cassidy locking in the Taz mission? Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah. No, Orange is too lazy to do that. But Nick Jackson hits a 450 splash onto Austin Gunn as Hook has him locked in the red rum. It's good lord. Yeah, AEW, it really seems like does not really care about the rules in tag team wrestling, especially if the Young Bucks are involved.
Oh no.
But
I really wanted the Guns to go over in this match.
I
Because
did.
if you're watching Collision, Bullet Club Gold is the best fucking thing on that show.
The Bang Bang Gang.
Bullet Club Gold, you know. Again, it's just a good example of how good, you know, people say that there's too many factions in the biz right now. I disagree. I fucking love factions. And, you know, when you have such a surplus of talent, a faction is the best thing for them. You know,
might as well.
We got Judgment Day. We got the LWO. We got the Brawling Brutes. We have the Bloodline. We have Metaphor on NXT. We got Bullet Club Gold in AEW. We got the Acclaimed. We got
Imperium.
We got Imperium. We got so many factions, and I fucking love factions. You know, it's like that's how these people get over. If they have good chemistry with their faction, you know, I'm sorry, but a couple of years ago when the Guns were just Billy's kids, they had no personality. I had no reason to give a shit about them. Back before Damian Priest joined the Judgment Day, he was just another guy on the roster who put on good matches. You know, Rhea Ripley, believe it or not, was actually getting stale. Factions can really inject some life.
Dominic Mysterio was just Ray's kid, and now he's the most over heel in the entire industry.
So again, they have so much fucking personality. The Ass Boys do. I just love seeing this transformation.
It's funny you say that because everybody calls them the Guns and they call them Bullet Club Gold, but especially after our interaction with them at WrestleCon, they will always be the Ass Boys until the day they die.
That still gets chanted at them.
Yeah,
so don't think it's dead.
I was so proud of the Seattle crowd for still reinvigorating that chant with life because they were loud Ass Boys chants. And Austin,
and you know what I love the best is the Guns' commitment to their characters because they get so fucking upset over that. They even said
Austin was so pissed off, just like he was at WrestleCon in the video. Where's the money?
I watched an interview with the Guns, and the person who was interviewing with them asked him, was like, so what about the Ass Boys? They stopped like, no, absolutely not. It's like, I love it. I love it, and I love them, and I really wanted them to go over in this match.
Yeah.
But who went over?
The Bucks! Because, of course, we need another FTR Young Bucks match in Los Angeles. You know, why the fuck not?
Also, the Guns could revisit FTR and actually beat them for the titles now that they're actually credible.
But instead, we have to circle back to FTR very awkwardly working with the Young Bucks after they got their FTR's best friend fired. But in any case,
the Bucks should be heels. The Bucks should always be heels. I'm sorry.
Yeah. 3.5 stars. I mean, it was fun. Yeah. It was fun enough as it was. But 12 minutes, I mean, it probably, like, they got a lot crammed in there for 12 minutes. But you know, I enjoyed it. I mean, say what you want about the Bucks. I still think they're one of the best tag teams in the industry. But
and I'm indifferent about them. So
yeah. Well, the Guns are fucking awesome. Please do not forget about them. Tony Khan, put the titles back on them. Please. Yeah. I beg you.
You know, I was all against their reasoning for making 2 separate rosters to stop brand split, but I don't know. You know, we have all these titles. Maybe transform those Ring of Honor titles into, you know, Collision titles. You know, this is why WWE did it. So I don't get why they can't do it there. And again, I love Ring of Honor. I absolutely adore them, but honestly, I don't think Tony Khan knows what to do with Ring of Honor. So maybe, hate to say this, maybe it's time to retire the brand. Take all those titles, transform them into AEW titles, find something else to do with them on Collision. And, you know, people like to say, like, oh, all Vince was going to do with the Ring of Honor library was, you know, just make it available on the network. But, you know, ECW had a shelf life. Maybe, you know, maybe it's time. Because I don't like what they're doing in Ring of Honor right now.
No, me neither. I mean, Supercard of Honor was a fun show to go to, but that was about it. But okay, up next.
Anywho, time for my match of the night.
Really? Your match of the night?
Match of the night.
Okay, yeah, this was a phenomenal match, is what this is. We have Tacoma, Washington's own Swerve Strickland going one-on-one with Hangman Adam Page in a good old-fashioned grudge match. This one was very interesting because Hangman Adam Page is supposed to be the babyface in here, But the crux of Swerve's promos and the whole build-up to this match is how fucking lazy the Hangman is. And
so how did we get here? So
yeah, thank you.
Adam Page has been very absent from TV. We all know about the backstage stuff, the heat between him and CM Punk. And I feel like ever since Punk left, it's kind of like Hangman poked his head out and was like, is it safe to come back? And now he's back on TV.
That is a great analogy.
And that's what this story stems from, is Hangman Adam Page winning that charity battle royal. He cut a promo about the teachers, and Swerve Strickland comes out and cuts the best promo of his career. He tells Hangman Adam Page, look at you. You haven't got new merch in like a year? You haven't got, different ring gear in about a year? You were the world champion, and you sit here and you're complacent, you're lazy. You've been handed opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and you squander all of them. And then you got a guy like me who has been working his ass off and gets 0 opportunities. And if this was the line of the promo, if he was given the opportunities Hangman was, he would have been the first Black AEW world champion. And I sit back and I think about that pay-per-view. And it's one of those instances. This is why we call Swerve AEW's Killmonger, because everything he said in that promo was 100% justified.
I fucking love Swerve. I've loved Swerve ever since I first saw him in NXT when he was in the Cruiserweight division. I knew that there was a main eventer in there somewhere. And lo and behold, go ahead.
I loved him ever since Lucha Underground when he was Killshot.
Yeah.
This man is fucking phenomenal.
And lo and behold, holy shit, this might have just been the biggest match of Swerve's career. And this crowd was 150,000% behind Swerve, and they 300,000% turned on the Hangman here. It was so jarring to see that, which honestly, in hindsight, it should not be all that surprising, because Swerve is from the state of Washington. Tacoma is only about a half hour outside of Seattle. So this crowd showed up for Swerve, and he even mentioned, he shouted out the Seattle Seahawks and their fan base, the 12th man. I'm a member of the 12th man, of course, but, because of how loud I am. But he said that the 12th man was going to show up in that Climate Pledge Arena. Boy, howdy did they. The 12th man was rattling the Hangman. So much so.
If booked differently, this would have 100% justified in a double turn.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
But you know how I just went on like this whole crusade about how much I love factions? Not all the factions are great, because Strickland has the ball and chain that is the Mogul Embassy, except Prince Nana. Prince Nana is fucking great. And I fucking fucking love it.
And Swerve's theme song, yes. And him dancing to Swerve's theme song is just the best freaking thing. It makes me want to dance.
Has aged like the finest wine on the planet. This man does not age. This man has been managing the embassy since like fucking 2001. He has not stopped since. And he is such an underrated manager. And here's the thing. This is how great of a manager he is. Swerve Strickland does not need a mouthpiece. But him and Prince Nana go together like peanut butter and jelly. I fucking love this pairing so much.
Oh, I freaking love it.
This match was fucking great. The storytelling, again, the storytelling in this match was phenomenal, because throughout the entire match, Swerve Strickland had Hangman Page's number. He had reversals for all of his moves. He was hitting Hangman Adam Page with every single move in his arsenal. And I love those kind of stories where, again, it felt like a Rocky story. Here comes this big hero kind of taking the challenger, lightly, and Swerve Strickland is in there kicking his ass. And I want to say 10 minutes into this 20-minute match, I was like, there is no other finish to go with than Swerve Strickland winning this match. It would be a fucking crime if you do not put Swerve Strickland over here.
Especially
to make a fucking star.
And make a star he did. Especially since this pay-per-view was in fucking Seattle. We have seen so many times over this past decade or so with Vince McMahon, the geriatric lunatic sitting in the creative chair. We've seen so many times he has the hometown hero lose just for the heel to get heat. This match really had nothing on the line, nothing in terms of titles, just a sense of pride. Swerve was going in there to prove a point, and also you mentioned the storytelling. Swerve went in there with a strategy. You know what that strategy was? Take away the buckshot lariat, because that's Hangman Adam Page's bread and butter. That is his old reliable. The buckshot lariat is what won him the AEW World Title 2 years ago. And god damn it, a lot of his offense towards the second half of this match focused heavily on Hangman's arm. And let's
what makes the story better? When it actually works. When the heel zeroes in on that body part, that is the finisher. Because I feel like that's happened so much in WWE, where JR will say like, oh, you take that out, you take out, I don't know, what's an example? Oh, you take out the shoulder, then you take the RKO out of Randy Orton's arsenal. Just for the end of the match, Randy Orton still hits the RKO and wins the match. So what was the whole point? But here, again, it actually worked. Because Hangman Adam Page does hit the buckshot lariat, but he's not able to capitalize because it hurts him more than it hurts Swerve.
It does. And let's not undersell Hangman's selling, please, because he was just out of this world in this thing. This is what helped make Swerve look like $1 million. He goes for the cover after selling the arm for about a minute or so. But Prince Nana, the great manager on the outside, puts Swerve's foot on the bottom rope, and Paul Turner catches him, and he's like, you, wee! He sends Prince Nana to the back, and it's, that's...
Here's where my issue with the match is. Not with Prince Nana interfering. It's after the fact. What was Strickland tossed? He was tossed a weapon.
He was tossed one of Prince Nana's headbands with the heavy jewels in there.
Yeah, the jewel-encrusted headband. And Strickland hits Page with that, and I'm just like, if that would have been the finish, I would have been very upset. And I went from being very upset to annoyed, because Hangman Adam Page does kick out of that shot. But here's the thing. Number one, we had this issue at Forbidden Door, and AEW 100% has this problem. You said it. The referee, Paul Turner, ejects Prince Nana from ringside. Nana never leaves.
He does not leave.
The heel manager always argues with the referee, but he does it like as he's backing up the ramp, and then he's gone. Prince Nana never leaves. So Swerve Strickland hits the belt shot. Hangman Page kicks out. Nana is still there at ringside, and then Swerve Strickland hits the JML driver, and he gets the win.
Not after hitting not one but two house calls, and then the JML driver.
The Swerve stomp, the Swerve stomps in this match were great. The dead eye on the apron was great. I again love this match, but here's where my big issue with the match lies. I love this match. I wanted to give it 4.5 stars, but unfortunately, this finish knocks off points. I'm gonna give it 4.25. I still think it was a fantastic match wrestling wise, but here's my issue with it. Swerve Strickland got the win. That was 100% the right call and the best call to do. But don't you think this could have even cemented him even further if he would have got the clean win? Clean as a fucking whistle.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. The whole story, the whole match, Swerve Strickland had Hangman Page's number.
Sure did.
Imagine the storytelling and the mental toll and how Hangman Page's psyche would have been damaged if Swerve Strickland would have straight up beat him, bested him, clean as a whistle, and Hangman Adam Page would have to sit there and think, damn, Swerve Strickland was right. I went in there with no game plan. I went in there, I took him lightly, and he fucking got me. Embarrassed him in front of this savage crowd.
You know what? You know what that is? I think Hangman Page needs to go back and watch Rocky 3, because in this situation, this is a guy who has been at the top before. He has tasted the sweet glory of the biggest prize you can in this industry as AEW sells. And then in comes a young, hungry challenger, Swerve Strickland being Clubber Lang in this case, and he freaking rope-a-dopes the established veteran. And I 100% agree with you. Swerve should have 100% won this match clean. I'm going to match 4.25 stars. I love this match. I love this match so much. Swerve should have won clean, though.
People are going to say, like, oh, well, Swerve Strickland cheated. That's, they can build to a rematch. How come there always has to be cheating involved to, justify a rematch? Hangman Page could go. Hangman Page, they could shoot him backstage, and he could be like, you know what? Swerve Strickland beat me. I'm not the same person I used to be. I'm not the same guy that won the world title. I need to go away for a bit. Hangman Page would go away for like 3 to 4 months. He could come back, better than ever, he could challenge Swerve Strickland again and get his win back. I feel like that would be better story than Hangman Adam Page going out there whining complaints like, yeah, you beat me, but you had to cheat with Prince Nana and all this stuff. And yeah, that could lead to like a cage match. It could lead to like a Texas death match. But I don't know.
It could.
Just like, you know, a better arc. I think that's what Hangman Adam Page needs. He needs a better arc because
I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better. Swerve beats Hangman clean, and then Hangman goes away for a little bit because Swerve was proven right by beating Hangman clean. He takes the 3 to 4 months off, but here's the difference. You turn Hangman heel. Because you said, like, you texted me this while you were watching this. Hangman is AEW's Drew McIntyre. Because this is, you know, this is a guy who is very much established in the AEW overarching narrative. Hangman is one of the most intense people in the AEW village, but he is definitely starting to grow a little bit stale. Not to say that Drew McIntyre is growing stale on the other side. I'm definitely very curious to see where they take it in WWE.
I mean, but he was, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. Everyone needs a refresher, and you see what they're doing with Drew McIntyre. I think they need to do the same with Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah,
because
and I thought
wrong. Everybody needs some sprucing up. Everybody needs, you know, a fresh coat of paint.
I could have sworn back in March when we were at Revolution that the Hangman came out to completely blood red lighting and it's completely heelish like entrance music, and that was fucking awesome. Like, just do that. Do that. Don't go back to the normal Hangman that we know and love. Like I fucking love that. Like, make him make the Hangman a Red Dead Redemption villain. Like, you couldn't just have fun with it. Have fun with it.
There's a lot of people in WWE that they are taking a chance on and they are taking a risk on by turning heel. Because again, Drew McIntyre is a huge baby face. But I'm looking forward to see what they do him as a heel. And again, you could book the heel turn very well. You could go with the double turn. You could go into that rematch. And, you know, Hangman Adam Page could absolutely, like, beat the piss out of Swerve Strickland, like Alberto and Ziggler style from Payback 2013. And just, like, you know, stomp on his fingers and, like, you know, bloody him up and, like, like Great American Bash 2008, Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels. Do something like that. Beat him down so relentlessly that the crowd grows sympathy for him. I think that is the best kind of heel turn you can do.
Yes.
Double turn you could do. Because that's what they did with Ziggler. Beat him down so badly that not only do we feel bad for the babyface, but we want, you know, we look at Hangman Adam Page like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This man is blinded by his own blood, and you're not letting him breathe. Like, you know, there's so many different ways they can go about this, but I'm scared AEW is going to do the lazy route, and Hangman Adam Page is not going to turn heel. There's going to be no character arc. He's just going to get his win back, and then, you know, right back to what they're doing.
And then what they do?
Prove me wrong. Please,
well,
prove me wrong.
A lot of speculation going into Hangman's future, obviously, but as far as this match stands, this was the best thing on the show easily up to this point. Yeah, and in Tomas's case, the best thing he saw all night. But yeah, definitely really, really, really great match. But up next, you kind of have a bit of a throwaway by comparison.
Yeah, you really did. It's Ricky Starks going one-on-one with Wheeler Yuta. Ricky Starks, fantastic.
I'm sorry. Am I watching Dynamite or Collision right now? Ricky Starks versus Wheeler Yuta? Like,
and
this is a pay-per-view match?
Yeah, exactly, with no build whatsoever. The build is Starks and Danielson had that fantastic strap match on All Out that we talked about. Starks and Danielson had a rematch on Collision the week prior in a Texas death match, which was very good. Nowhere near as good as a strap match, but still a very good match. So Yuta confronts Starks backstage and just, you know, they want to fight. They want to have a match. I'm sorry, did the Blackpool Combat Club just turn heel a few months ago? And I feel like they're baby faces again.
Yeah, especially since Ricky Starks is one of the biggest douches on the roster in character.
Here's the thing. I can't boo Moxley and Danielson. I just can't.
No.
I can't do it.
No.
I can't bring myself to do it.
No.
I love them too much.
Bryan Danielson was definitely a babyface on this show, and we'll get to him. Oh, yeah. Jon Moxley, at this point in time, I definitely feel like Moxley is a babyface, because one thing we failed to mention up to this point, for the next couple of matches, Jon Moxley joins the Goons on commentary, and he is so fucking entertaining. Like,
I feel like both in WWE and AEW, they have both attempted to turn Moxley heel, but you just can't do it. The guy is just so damn lovable.
Yeah. Every time his guy, is on defense, and every time Ricky Starks hit a successful offensive maneuver, you just hear Moxley saying, shit, my brother.
Again, how the fuck can I boo a man that comes out to Wild Thing every single night through the crowd?
You can't.
Bumps with everybody. How the fuck can you boo that?
No, you really can't.
I don't know what it is. You look at Moxley, you see the way he acts, you see the way he wrestles, you see the way he cuts promos, and you see a heel in there, but you just can't do it.
No.
He's like, he's the perfect anti-hero in wrestling.
Oh, this is such good shit. It's so you're wacky. You're different. We can't help but cheer you.
Fucking hell.
Sound familiar?
Recently, Vince McMahon admitted to Jon Moxley, we used you wrong.
Oh boy. Yeah, too bad Moxley's contract goes until like 2027 or whatever it was, but
yeah.
Anyway,
and by the time he's done lacerating his body to hell, he may want to hang it up after this AEW run.
Maybe, but yeah, so this is a basic average television match. Yuta's applying an armbar, and Starks' heater, as it was established at All Out. Big Bill comes out to distract Wheeler Yuta, and Moxley is basically saying, what's this big ass doing out here? Like, I don't know if he said that outright, but Big Bill brings his big ass out to the ring, and he doesn't really play much of a factor. He's like AEW's Tomko at this point, but
apparently a lot of people like Big Bill, and I will admit he's a hell of a lot better than he was in WWE, but I don't care for him. I really don't.
No, me neither. But so Ricky Starks, nothing really much to report about this. He hits him with a spear and a Rochambeau and pins him in 10 minutes. 2.5 stars. Nothing you couldn't have seen on TV, though.
If one more fucking wrestler uses the spear as their finisher, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Oh, well, yeah, too bad nothing else eventful happens on this show aside from the next match.
Okay, established people don't count. Established people don't count. I'm talking about
established people don't count. I mean,
that's more new wrestler.
The spear is a signature. Ricky Starks' finisher is the Rochambeau.
Everybody stop using the spear. We have enough people wrestlers using the spear.
Yep, but okay.
That's how much you don't have to say about this match because I'm complaining about the spear.
Next match, then. Speaking of the Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley stays out there because his brother, Bryan Danielson, from Aberdeen, Washington, is going up against Zack Sabre Jr. in a dream match. Now, this was the whole idea of creating this AEW WrestleDream pay-per-view. You're going to put in dream matches. Dream of wrestling. Yes. So I could have sworn that this match was going on last, but judging from the brutality and the great storytelling in that main event that we actually got, it's not really all that surprising that this did not go on last. But this was my match of the night. Everything that I wanted to see in a match between Danielson and Sabre Jr., two methodical technicians in there. This was everything I wanted. This was everything I wanted and more. Really tugged
this match was really good. I will say though, this style of wrestling is not the casual wrestling. I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but this match was not for the casuals. You have to really appreciate that technical catch can style of wrestling. You
really do.
Dare I say, like amateur collegiate style of wrestling. Like this was, not about, power bombs and chair shots and, all those pro wrestling tropes. This was two guys literally tying each other into a pretzel. And a lot of submission holds, a lot of rest holds, some good striking ability. But again, I would understand why this match isn't everyone's style. I fucking loved it, however. This was fucking great.
Just the ability of both men. Just the ability of both men to be able to transition from hold to hold so seamlessly. Like, it was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
I watched this match and I looked at both of these guys. And again, the same analogy that I've used for years. ever since I was a kid, all the way up until like around this time, give or take a few years, I have said there is not a man on this planet that could out wrestle Kurt Angle. And I was looking at both of the guys that could do it right here.
Yep, and Kurt Angle has wrestled Zack Sabre Jr. at indie shows in the past too. So those matches.
But it's a shame it is the way it is. Could you imagine like a 2008 Kurt Angle versus Zack Sabre Jr.?
No, I'd rather imagine a 2003 Kurt Angle versus Zack Sabre Jr. because 2008 Kurt Angle was not in the best spot. Definitely not in the best spot.
Fair enough.
This one, I love the freaking surfboard trade-off. Zack Sabre Jr. does a surfboard. Danielson decides anything you can do, I can do better. And he's like doing the, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, freaking love that.
They tried to do the spot. It didn't really work out, though. They tried to do the spot where they like locked each other's ankles in and like did a submission. And then, they did the headstand spot. They were trying to do the headstand spot where they slap each other in the face. It didn't work out that well, but oh my God, it's crazy.
So great. So freaking great. Bonus points for Jon Moxley on commentary as well, because every time Sabre was on offense, he was trying to encourage his brother on and try and fight back. And there was one point where he said, "Let's go, Bryan, fuck that guy." And Excalibur actually out loud said, "Swear jar." It was like, damn, yeah, well, you gotta keep Mox on the leash if he's gonna be on commentary. But
in the great words of Joey Styles, this is pay-per-view, I can say it.
Yeah. My God, he just crushed the man's balls.
It's pay-per-view and I can say it.
We'll get to that. But
next year.
Yeah, so Sabre and Bryan's arms are all tied up, and it's just they're all pretzels. Bryan Danielson hits the running knee, hits another running knee, and then pinfall. 23 minutes. I know what I said. JR is fucking blown away by this match. I was too. I'm going to give this 4 3/4 stars, and I'll tell you why it's not 5. Could you imagine this match taking place in 2016, 2017? I realize that's pretty much impossible because Danielson was forced into retirement. But that was at the point where Zack Sabre Jr. was on top of the fucking world. And not to say that he isn't right now. He is the New Japan Television Champion. But looking at where he is in his career right now in relation to Bryan Danielson, there was no shot that Sabre Jr. was winning this. At least in my estimation. I found this match to be incredibly predictable. I think Zack Sabre Jr. has fallen considerably down the ladder ever since his indie days, where he was holding 10 different world titles from 10 different promotions, and he was the talk of the world. But
we are talking about the guy, when he was on top of the world, was offered a deal from WWE, and he said, "No, thanks, I'm good."
Because Vince was in charge. That's that makes a lot of sense why he didn't want to go. But
that's how fucking good Zack Sabre Jr. was. And I 100% get where you're coming from. He did revitalize his career with the heel turn. I do think Sabre Jr. is such an underrated heel. I don't know what it is about him. He just has that way of getting under the fan's skin in little tiny ways. One thing with the bleach blonde hair, every time I see Sabre Jr. with the bleach blonde hair, I'm like, what a fucking douche. And TMDK is doing well in Japan, but I get what you're saying. Like, I only see Sabre Jr. like once or twice a year, and he's definitely not on top of the wrestling world like he used to.
No.
Wow, you were a lot. I did love this match a lot. I'm gonna give it 4 stars.
That's fine.
It was really, really, really good. I thought it was really good. I wanted to see these guys do like a 30-minute Broadway. I wanted more. As much as we got in this match, I wanted more. And I get why this didn't main event, but I wanted it to. I really, really want. I was on the way to saying I liked this more than the Okada match, and in some ways I still do, but I feel like it ended when there could have been more. I want these guys in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Oh man, could you imagine? I mean, we couldn't get a 2 out of 3 falls match between these guys because that's your main event. Yeah, but
in the future.
Yeah, so Sabre refuses a handshake and refuses the code of honor with Bryan Danielson. Instead, there is a very heartwarming moment in the ring where Danielson hugs referee Aubrey Edwards in the ring, who is almost on the verge of tears. Because if you remember Danielson's retirement speech in 2016, when he was first forced into it, second row at ringside, you can see a young female fan sitting there just bawling her eyes out. That young female fan would turn into Aubrey Edwards, the referee that we all love in AEW.
Not know that.
Yep, it totally is. It totally is. Go look back at that promo. It's Aubrey. It definitely is. But in any case,
right now, actually.
While he's doing that, it's such a cool story. It is such a cool story. So the commentary team, the commentary team for the AEW's commentary it's so but another thing we should note,
wants to have his cake and eat it too.
Another thing we should note is that
they are 100% the right guy to call this match.
Yeah, Nigel McGuinness was on commentary. That's what I wanted to talk about. He was very critical of a lot of Bryan Danielson's offense. You think he's got the itch to go back? You think he's gotten cleared yet? I think Danielson and Nigel McGuinness, hey.
You know what? He wanted to work all in, but Danielson was not cleared at all in.
Nothing's impossible in this business. Clearly.
I think behind the scenes, he has not said he's probably only told a small handful of people, and they are very tight-lipped about it, people we can trust. But I think Nigel McGuinness is good to go.
Yeah.
I really,
get some rematches from Danielson's farewell tour from Ring of Honor in 2009, 2010.
Could you? Oh my God! It still fucking saddens me that WWE signed Nigel McGuinness right before he couldn't wrestle anymore.
Yeah. But
wait, no, I take that back. He was offered a deal from WWE. He turned it down to go to TNA.
Desmond Wolfe.
Talk about Desmond Wolfe?
Would you be intimidated by a man named Desmond?
I don't know who you're talking about. That doesn't exist to me.
Anyway, what do we got next?
We have the Don Callis family, newest heel faction.
Fucking right.
AEW. And that is Konosuke Takeshita, the New Japan United Kingdom champion, Will by God Ospreay, and Sammy Guevara. You heard me right. Going against a very interesting team in Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi.
Golden sex gods.
Yeah. How did we get here? Well, Jericho and Guevara after All Out? No, not All Out. All In. That's where Jericho wrestled Ospreay.
I think they had a match at Grand Slam is what happened. And
No. After Guevara and Jericho probably started after All In when Jericho wrestled Ospreay. And they seemed to started getting at each other, the relationship was starting to flounder a little.
Deteriorate.
Deteriorate. So Jericho and Guevara were like, you know what? We're pro wrestlers. Let's beat the shit out of each other. Let's get it all out of our system. We're going to have a match. And then, we're going to go right back to being late sex guys. We're going to win the tag team titles. Everything will be peachy keen. We just need to get this out of our system. Well, Jericho and Guevara actually had a pretty good match at Grand Slam, and Guevara turned on Jericho.
Yep. And did you notice, by the way, sorry to cut you off, that the ending was the exact same fucking aftermath as Michaels and Jericho at WrestleMania 19, except Jericho was in the Michaels role, and Guevara kicked Jericho himself in the balls.
I hate that.
The same fucking derivative thing.
Hate that.
Why?
I hate it. I fucking hate it.
Why do you hate it?
I'm tired of Tony Khan recreating old school WWE moments. I hate it.
You remember that was around the time he was the big mark. He was in attendance for WrestleMania 18, so he's got to do it on his show.
I fucking hate it. Guevara could have turned on Jericho without doing that. I just fucking hate it. It annoys the shit out of me. You know what annoys the shit out of me? I know this is totally off topic. You know what annoys the shit out of me? I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube where people will take a match that just happened and they'll be like, oh, this is the same spot or the same exact sequence from this match back in 1992. I don't give a flying fuck. Pro wrestling has been around for 50 plus years. Yes, they're going to copy some spots. How about you get out your fucking mother's basement and touch some grass instead of comparing Jericho and Guevara to fucking Brett versus Bulldog at a house show back in '92. Nobody gives a fuck. I hate that shit. I fucking hate it. Stop. I don't notice that shit. I have the attention span of a rodent.
No more copycatting. No more copycatting.
Who gives a shit if somebody does? Like, people will take fucking Judgment Day versus Owens and Zayn. It's like, oh, this is the same exact spot that fucking Eddie and Ray versus the Basham brothers. It's just like, I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. Like 20 plus wrestling matches every week. You think I fucking remember what happens in all of them?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, you're supposed to have a great memory, right? It's supposed to be long-term storytelling.
It came to my mind and I was like, why do you guys fucking care if they copied a spot from 2002? Like,
Jericho did the same shit 20 years ago. You're supposed to remember.
Hell. But anywho, not
great
only
match.
did Guevara turn on Jericho, he joined the Don Callis family. He joined Don Callis' new little faction. And this is just, Callis has his guys, which I think it's coming together very well. And Jericho has recruited the help of Omega and Ibushi. This was fun. This was good.
I enjoyed it a lot. Omega, and anytime I get to see Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay in any shape or form, I'm all for it. Because they had one of the matches of the year in AEW at Forbidden Door. So I'm game for any sort of interaction between those guys.
Can't wait for Wrestle Kingdom 2024 when we get to see it again.
Right. I can't wait for Forbidden Door 2024 when we can see it again. But it's
they're gonna do it at the Tokyo Dome. What are you talking about?
they're gonna do it at Forbidden Door also. They're gonna bring it to the States. So? Yeah.
This is the rubber match. This is the rubber match.
You think so?
This started in Japan. I think it's gonna end in Japan.
Okay. I selfishly want to see it again in the States too, but
okay.
I mean, it's some of the greatest hits of all 6 of these guys, and everybody just looks freaking awesome here. Jericho actually looked a lot better in this match than he has in recent memory, at least.
I think this current run Jericho's in with like Ospreay and Omega, he's looking good.
Yeah, Jericho
better than he has.
I think at this point in his career, Jericho should just stay babyface. I mean, he's a great heel, but the crowd loves singing his song. His antics definitely feel more babyface-like. Like, he's a little jokester that always tries to, use his baseball bat on people. Like,
also, let us remind everybody, this is the first time since AEW's debut, since it started, that Jericho has not been in a faction.
Yeah, Inner Circle, JAS, and Sammy Guevara has always been involved in those factions. So,
which I think after this one, they gotta, Baby Bird's not a baby bird anymore. He's he's an adult. You need to push him out of the nest.
Exactly. And
it's sink or swim time for Guevara.
Thankfully, this match does come down to Jericho versus Guevara at the end. Guevara goes for the go to hell, the GTH. Jericho counters into the walls of Jericho. He locks it in, but Ospreay tries to jump into the ring with his United Kingdom title, tries to use it as a weapon. Referee Aubrey Edwards is distracted. In comes the piece of shit Don Callis with Floyd the baseball bat, right? I almost called it Mitch. Yeah. It's Floyd the baseball bat.
Mitch is the potted plant.
Waffles Jericho with the baseball bat. I forgot about Mitch, the potted plant. He wobbles Jericho with Floyd. And yeah, cheap victory. Sammy Guevara has the 3 count. Omega and Ibushi are held back by Takeshita and Ospreay on the outside. Jericho is pinned. He puts Guevara over. It was good. 3 3/4. I enjoyed it. For what it was.
I'll give it 3.5. It was fine. It was another chapter in this saga, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
I feel like All In was a chapter. All Out was a chapter. A great chapter. Also, I love how Konosuke Takeshita has gone from who is this guy to now I look at him and I'm like, he's going to be a fucking star.
He's an ace. He is an ace in the hole, man.
Love Takeshita.
Yeah.
He looks a guy. Maybe great. One day down the line, I want Triple H to scoop him up.
Great matches. He has Sami Zayn's moveset, but I mean, other than that, it's I love what he's doing. Here, but here we go. You want to go from extensive programs to a fresh matchup? FTR defending the World Tag Team titles against Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Climb, climb, climb. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Climb, climb, climb.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. I fucking love their theme song. I love their fucking theme song.
Yeah.
Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi. I fucking love Aussie Open. I fucking love United Empire. Ever since I saw those guys in United Empire, I'm like, these guys are fucking good. This was fucking tag team wrestling.
This was
Aussie
fucking awesome.
On an episode of Collision, and they just called their shot. They said it was almost a year ago to the day that we had one of the best tag team title matches on the indie show, and now they're here on the big stage, and they want to challenge for these tag team titles. Mm-hmm. I so fucking badly wanted Aussie Open to win this match.
Yeah.
So badly. I'm marked for these guys.
So the taller one is Fletcher, right? The taller, more nimble one. So yeah, so Kyle Fletcher, Davis is the more like rotund guy. You know, he goes in there and he's, a big brute. Kyle Fletcher is not a small man at all, but he actually kind of reminds me a lot of Dijakovic, because he can go in there and like he is quick as a cat, very tall, very nimble guy too. So it's he can do a lot of things that guys his size should not be able to do. So super impressed with both of these guys. They're a great tag team. I was impressed with them at Supercard as well, but
wasn't WWE like interested in these guys recently?
They might have been.
I mean, Tony Khan sweetened the deal a little more though. I think Tony Khan he pulled the politician card with them. He paid for Mark Davis's surgery, and I think Aussie Open was like, well, this guy kind of goes above and beyond for his talent, so
might as well.
Tony Khan pulled some magic to get these guys, but
yes,
that's how good they are. The fact that WWE was scouting them.
Holy tag team wrestling, Batman! This was FTR's best match in a while. This was FTR's best match in a while, and this is coming from someone who loves FTR. But I think Aussie Open was such a perfect match for them because it
Here's
gave.
My thing with FTR, they are a fantastic tag team, but they don't mesh well with every tag team.
Right,
you got to get them with the right team.
You got to get them with the right team. Either the recently reunited DIY in those epic NXT classics that we got, or
remind me of that.
You do what you do here. You put them up against these big guys in Aussie Open, and by default, with how small the FTR guys are compared to these guys, you make them the underdogs. And I think FTR are great underdogs. Cash Wheeler was taking so much freaking heat in this match. I mean, I don't know why he didn't just take his Glock out and just start hammering people if he was taking that much heat. But
that's got to be his new finisher, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, the Glock Buster?
Yeah. Arn Anderson would be proud.
Yeah. No, you should just adopt the Spine Buster from Glock Anderson himself.
Yeah, call it the Glock Buster.
Dax Harwood is a hell of a babyface in his own right, man. He goes in there, takes his hot tag, German suplexes on Fletcher, which is not an easy thing to do. But you know what else I loved about this match? Stolen fucking finishers, man. Aussie Open hits the Shatter Machine. They go for their Coriolis finisher, right? The double team slam, 2 count on Cash because Dax Harwood made the save. Awesome tag team wrestling here, man. I mean, it was just loved it to no end. Fletcher suicide dive to the outside, man. I fucking love Kyle Fletcher. I love Mark Davis too, but Fletcher especially impressed me. So FTR, I don't believe they hit the normal Shatter Machine, but because, they can't seem to put Aussie Open away with their normal moveset, they go up and they hit a super Shatter Machine off the top rope. Cash Wheeler pins Kyle Fletcher, 20-minute match, 4 stars. This was FTR's best match in a while. Really great.
4 stars. This was really fun. This was a really fun match. I really wanted Aussie Open to win. And now we're going to go into yet another FTR and Bucks match.
Yay. Oh, lovely. I never need to see that match again. I mean,
inconsistent psychology and inconsistent match structure. I love those.
Yeah.
FTR and the Bucks, this is going to be a very hot take. FTR and the Bucks is the tag team equivalent of Bret Hart versus Ric Flair. Those guys never clicked. It's because their psychology was on opposite sides of the world.
It's the equivalent of The Undertaker versus The Rock. I'll do you one better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know? Except, I mean, I don't think that's very fair because FTR and the Bucks at least had a phenomenal match at Full Gear 2020 during the pandemic. Taker and Rock, I cannot remember one classic match those two guys had together. And they're two of my favorites of all time. But
that's fair because I can see the appeal of FTR from Bucks. It's just not. It's not. It's not my taste. I just look at it and I'm like,
of course.
It's not bad. I just don't think it's phenomenal.
It'll probably be at Full Gear.
In my opinion.
It'll probably be at Full Gear, and I need to wait for this full card to be announced, but that's a show I'm actually considering going to, because I'm going to be in the area that weekend anyway, but...
yeah, might as well go.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
You're going to be kicking yourself if you don't.
Yeah, the only match announced was MJF versus Jay White, so I need to see how the rest of the card looks before I even buy a ticket, but...
or maybe you won't go, and you'll just sit on the couch, and you'll just blandly say to yourself, "Huh, should have went to that."
Yeah, that's probably what I would say too. But okay, our main event sponsored by DraftKings. What is it?
You said that.
Because AEW is sponsored by DraftKings.
Yep.
What do you want me to say?
This kind of came a shock to everybody when it was announced the night before. I think for the first time ever, the TNT title is headlining a pay-per-view.
Sure
which
is.
Very crazy considering the crazy history the TNT title has gone through, the ups and downs, the valleys and the peaks. As Christian Cage, the rightful champion who retained his title last week on Collision, defends against Darby Allin in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Like I said, the week prior in Collision, Christian Cage retained his TNT title against Luchasaurus and Darby Allin in a triple threat match. So Tony Khan demanded that Christian Cage defend his title against Allin in 2 out of 3 falls. I had the end of this paper spoiled for me, so that kind of was in the back of my mind. I was watching this match, but the match was not built around this. I think these guys have phenomenal chemistry with each other, and Darby Allin is a fucking crazy motherfucker. But again, I feel like we say this every single AEW pay-per-view, but he just never ceases to amaze me. The shit that he goes through in these matches.
God, yep. Okay, before I get to that point, I'm sorry I'm laughing so much at the fact that he said Christian retained the TNT Championship. The crowd sign of the night was a guy sitting on the floor holding up a sign that says Christian Cage TNT title reign day 106.
Yeah,
which is what 106 days ago is when I guess Luchasaurus won the TNT title for him. Christian might have been injured or something, but
TNT title. Christian Cage did.
He did. Christian Cage has been the champion this whole time. He's been the champion this entire time.
Luchasaurus had the fucking gall. He had the gall to pick up Christian Cage's title during the match last week.
Yeah, he did.
It's not yours, sir.
He did. It's not his title. It's been Christian's the whole time. Clearly, now you guys can see why Christian Cage is one of my favorites. I've loved this guy from day one.
Never, ever tell Christian Cage that you have a father.
Nope. I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that.
Never tell him that you have a father.
And I'm also never going to insult the fact that he wrestles in a fucking turtleneck.
And you know what? For the matter of fact, don't ever tell him you have a mother too.
No.
Slide into those DMs.
He sure fucking will. So yeah, getting to your point, his challenger is hometown hero from Seattle, Darby Allin. He goes out there. He is so fucking emotional, man, and he has been waiting almost 5 years for an AEW pay-per-view main event. This is a guy who has put his body on the line for us every single time, and now here he is reaping the full benefits. Gotta fucking love it. Gotta fucking love it for him.
Elephant in the room that we need to address. People were saying this needs to be Darby Allin's crowning moment, his crowning achievement, winning the TNT title. But this motherfucker is heading to Switzerland next month to start training to climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Look, Tony Khan, I get it. You want your wrestlers to have freedom. You don't want them to feel locked down, that they can't have any outside interests. But maybe here, maybe in this one instance, you need to step in and say, you know what, Darby?
This is a bad idea.
With me, I'm going to say no.
This is a bad idea.
It's going to be a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
It's either you call this thing off or we're going to have a problem.
Darby's got the biggest cojones on the entire roster for doing that. And we said it before last month during the All Out pod. If pro wrestling doesn't take this man with the bumps he's taking, I fucked that up. If Everest does not take this man's life next year, professional wrestling will with the bumps he's taking. And trust me, I want neither one of those things to take away Darby Allin from us because that guy seems so fucking cool. But does he, I don't know, man, climbing Mount Everest, is he fucking insane? Is he fucking insane? Legitimately insane. I don't know who's crazier, him or Jeff Hardy.
No, I'd rather not compare to Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. At least Darby Allin doesn't get into legal trouble. That's for damn sure.
Wow, but look at the spots he took in this match. He took a back body drop off the apron onto the steel steps.
Fucking Christ, dude.
So much to the point where Christian Cage hesitated to do it the first time.
Because Cage was actually scared that he was going to kill this man before he even attempted to train to climb Mount Everest. But, okay. So, let me also get this out of the way. It's best 2 out of 3 falls. Darby Allin actually takes the first fall of this match after pulling the turtleneck up so Christian Cage was temporarily blinded, and he rolls him up in a victory roll. And Tomas's favorite finish of all time, the surprise roll-up finish, Darby Allin surprises Christian. Yeah.
Fuck the turtleneck.
Fuck the turtleneck. It was so awesome.
They had to kill to make that neck.
Yeah. So, I'm going to pretend you didn't just say that. So, Christian, he's fussing with the turtleneck after he loses the first fall. And to your point, he sees young Nick Wayne's mother sitting at ringside, and he wants to slide into those DMs. And I think this is the point where Nick Wayne's mom actually tosses whatever drink she had in Christian's face after, teasing that she was into him. But it's, this whole thing with Nick Wayne coming into the picture, being Darby Allin's little brother figure, and it's a really cool part of the story, I think. And I
I like how Nick Wayne has been, integrated into the Christian Cage stuff too, because they debuted this kid and they put so much hype around him, and he was basically bland. There was nothing special about him. And that's how you have to do it in professional wrestling. You have to make us care about these stars. You can't just say, this guy's a great wrestler, like him. No, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
You know what? Anyone can be a good wrestler. Anybody can do a 450 splash nowadays. Anybody can do a shooting star press nowadays. Why should I like this guy that does a shooting star press over this guy that does a shooting star press?
Yeah.
I feel like we're in the age of wrestling where character development and storytelling matters more than everything.
Yes. Yeah. Which was a big theme of this podcast, at least as of earlier. So, to your point, Darby Allin takes that fucking stupid bump onto the steel steps. So much so that the back of his head actually hits the edge of the bottom stair, and I'm like, God fucking damn, dude. And again, Excalibur with the line of the night on commentary, by the way. I have to get this out. I'm sorry. He said, and I quote, "This is not professional wrestling. This is humane assault." That's what it was. Yeah.
Because, again, I said it once, I'll say it again. Darby Allin takes bumps that would make Mick Foley wince.
Good Lord. But all due respect to Mick Foley, obviously. But Christian... Yeah, I am. Christian takes the count-out victory, so the match is even at 1 fall apiece. The stretcher is brought out for Darby Allin, as Christian Cage does probably the nicest thing he's done since turning heel. He decides to get ahead of the curve, and he starts to do the ringside worker's job for them, and he decides to preempt the post-show cleanup by tearing apart the ring canvas. It's exposing the wood underneath, but for some reason he forgets to pull out the drill and take the screws out of the wood and all that. But he basically takes apart everything else.
Yeah, and then in one of the sickest bumps of the match, Christian Cage then performs a frog splash onto Darby Allin while he's on the stretcher.
Good God, man. And good Lord, yeah, the referee on the outside is admonishing Christian for it, yelling, "What's your problem?" It's just...
Also, I love Christian Cage's frog splash. I don't know why.
Because he delivers a great frog splash, man. He really does. And now we're just starting to notice that. Christian rolls Darby in the ring after he forgot to pull the screws out of the planks that were in the ring. But, you know, that might have played to his advantage, his forgetfulness, because he hits Darby Allin with a kill switch on the exposed wood.
Yes.
Darby Allin is oh my God, he's so, like, he's got a death wish, man. Like, I hate to say it, but I feel like this guy's got a death wish, you know? But, you know, Christian hits that kill switch and somehow Darby kicks out.
That was a near fall that I actually agreed with. Usually I hate finishers being kicked out of, but this one was great.
That was so fucking awesome. And this match, honestly, I think this is my favorite TNT title match since Brody Lee's final match of his career, the dog collar match against Cody Rhodes.
The storytelling in this was very good.
Oh, I freaking love this main event, man. Christian, because he's a piece of shit heel, locks Darby in the Scorpion Deathlock. Darby gets his hand on the bottom ropes, and he hits Christian with his uncle's own Scorpion Death Drop. He hits a coffin drop, great near fall as well, and a sunset flip powerbomb off the top by Christian into the exposed wood. Christian charges for the spear. Christian hits the referee with the spear instead, and here comes Luchasaurus. Here comes Luchasaurus to really fuck with this kid. And Nick Wayne runs down to even the odds. And what happens? What happens after that?
This was, honestly, considering what happened after the show, again, I was spoiled, but it was being telegraphed. It was being very telegraphed, you have to admit. And we'll get to that.
Yeah.
This was the shocker of the night. Nick Wayne turns on Darby Allin.
He sure does. Sure does.
That, I did not see that coming.
No.
But this is going to benefit him so well in the long run. Because, again, the factions. Is Christian Cage? Is Christian bringing back the Christian's coalition? I hope he is. Because
I mean, because he's got a much better problem solver in Luchasaurus right now, and now he's got basically a little son joining the group. Nick Wayne finally finding his father figure.
By no means are we going to compare this to Nick Wayne to AJ Styles, but they aren't going to turn him into Prince Nick. Hell no. The way they turned AJ Styles into Prince AJ. Hell fucking no. And again, I love the storytelling of this because then they cut to Nick Wayne's mom, and she is just like, why? She feels so betrayed that, you know, this man that has disrespected his late father, who disrespected his mother, he is now joining forces with. And again, this is going to work out for Nick Wayne so well in the long run.
It really is. And
you never know. He may turn out into like a little Dominic Mysterio.
He could.
He did the big heel turn. And if he can cut, like, you know, scathing heel promos the way Dom does, we might have a little fun booing Nick Wayne. Again, he could be a little twerk.
Nick Wayne has got his entire career ahead of him, too. So I'm very excited to see what he does. And I am so sorry. I stand corrected. Nick Wayne came out by himself. Luchasaurus did not come out until after the bell rang. So that is on me. That's my apologies there. That's a mistake on my part. Nick Wayne came out. Christian was all by himself against Darby and Nick turns around, and yeah, it was a bit telegraphed, but it was still pretty shocking. Clocks Darby Allin right in the head with the TNT title. Christian pins him as the referee comes to, counts very slow. What a fucking wild main event this was. I freaking loved it, man. 4 stars. 4 stars even, just for the enjoyment of it.
I'm going to give it 3 3/4 stars. I thought the second half of the match was a lot better, especially when Darby Allin started taking that punishment. It's crazy that Christian Cage in 2023 is main eventing pay-per-views, and he is like one of the most over heels in the business. Like, again, he is just what a 180. And again, in this late chapter of his career. But here comes the very telegraphed part. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Just like when they were setting up for it, you kind of saw where this was heading.
You kind of saw where it was, but I mean, it's not really eventful. Nick Wayne turning heel was the biggest thing to happen tonight. So Nick Wayne starts to beat the shit out of Darby, right?
And beat down.
Yes, out comes Sting to even the odds. Sting is starting to beat up this little twerp here, which I'm sure was an awesome moment.
I love this because Sting just makes his way to the ring. And the look on his face and the way he was just like taking his time and he just climbs into the ring and then he looks at Mo. He's like, fuck all of you. He just fucking going at like no urgency, no like just like calm, cool and collect, just walks to the ring and he just goes, what the fuck?
I love
just looking at these like, you guys are in trouble. He's gonna fucking kick your ass.
I love Sting so much, man. But Sting comes out, and now here comes Luchasaurus to basically give the advantage to the heels. He basically incapacitates Sting to the point where Christian decides to get 2 steel chairs. Sting is laid out.
Again, the minute this happened, I was like, we all know where this is going because
we all know where this is going. We all know where this is going. So Christian gets in there. And he ends up hitting Sting with a concerto. The lights go out, and that's it. That's the show. That's it.
He's about to hit the concerto, and Tony Khan does his favorite thing in the world. Lights go out.
Lights go out. I will
say, the presentation was really cool. And again, you saw where this is going.
Obviously, I was joking when I said, obviously I was joking, but go ahead.
See a man, and again, I like how they did this presentation because we usually get like these cinematic intros to Darby Allin matches on pay-per-view. We didn't get one this time. We got it after the match, and a man got into a car, made his way into the arena, and they made it as clear as day when he rolled over Rated R.
Yep, he rolled over Rated R, and you think you know him? Which is the voice of Beth Phoenix, I did confirm. And who walks out to Metalingus? None other than Edge in AEW.
It's did not come out.
It's Adam Copeland.
Adam Copeland.
Yeah, it's the same fucking guy though.
Is now in AEW.
Yep.
And he comes out to the ring. How weird was it to see Adam Copeland Edge come out to Metalingus, do his whole thing, rock star pose with fireworks and everything in an AEW arena.
Crazy. So surreal, but you know what? He looked so freaking pumped to be there. Edge has always been one of my favorites of all time, easily in my top 10, if not my top 5. Edge might be in my top 5 favorite wrestlers ever. But when he came out and he is staring face to face with Christian Cage, I was sitting there and I'm like, I am in. I am so in. So he grabs the steel chair. He looks like he's about to hit the concerto on Sting. It is a bit telegraphed. He turns around and he hits Nick Wayne right in the back in his heavily taped up ribs with the chair, which must have hurt like a motherfucker. He hits Luchasaurus with the spear. Luchasaurus lands back first. And Taz on commentary says, outright, the Rated R superstar is here in AEW. WWE failed to trademark the Rated R superstar, so he could take that nickname with him. He just couldn't call himself Edge. That was the only thing. He could not call himself Edge.
Shocked Tony Khan was able to get Metalingus. I am very, very, very shocked he was able to get that.
It doesn't surprise me at all. It really does not surprise me at all because
I'm surprised WWE doesn't have the rights to that song.
Well, it's also not WWE written music either. That is one of my favorite bands of all time, Alter Bridge. And I guess I've heard in a couple of interviews since Adam Copeland made his debut that the music goes where he goes. And he's friends with Alter Bridge too. So I am all for this. He spears Nick Wayne. He shakes hands with Darby Allin. He shakes hands with Sting. Adam Copeland is here and the show goes off the air. Wow. I mean, I'm sitting here. I've watched this debut. I'm not going to lie. Just to kind of process that I actually watched it and I actually saw this defection go down. I've watched it a few times. I really have. And the pop that this guy got, and this is not a 15,000 seat arena either. There were only about 7,000 people in attendance in Seattle, but they made it sound like it was a 25,000 seat building. Like, these guys exploded for Adam Copeland. And I was sitting there and I'm like, yeah, I see him interacting with Christian. I saw the promo he had with Christian. I'm into this story. I'm into it. Tomas is not as into it as I am.
It feels weird.
It does.
It feels really weird.
And I never said it didn't.
Let me get this out of the way right now. I love Adam Copeland. I'm very happy for him. In the great words of Emperor Palpatine, I'm going to be watching his career with great interest. It just feels weird because
it does.
Edge has been in my life since I was an 8-year-old boy, and I have watched him wrestle Eddie Guerrero. I watched him come back from his neck injury. He became the most hated wrestler in my childhood. He became my Iron Sheik. He became my Roddy Piper, feuding with John Cena and feuding with Batista and feuding with The Undertaker. And I remember how sad I was when Edge retired in 2011. I remember how happy I was when he returned in 2020. I sat at SoFi Stadium and watched him wrestle Finn Balor in Hell in a Cell.
Yep. Me too.
I've always known him as being the WWE guy. And it just feels very weird to see him in AEW. And it's going to take some getting used to. It really, really, really is. And I feel like after seeing all of this, you know, other than like John Cena and Bryan Danielson, and maybe Shawn Michaels, I have never seen a wrestler tap into my emotions the way Edge did. Whether it was retirement, whether it was his return, whether it was, I felt this moment of euphoria at WrestleMania when he came out, you know, with Flair. It was crazy. It was one of those moments where, like, I've never felt so immersed in my life. So please understand when I say that Edge is very important to me in my life.
Me too.
It's just very weird seeing him in AEW. It's very, very, very weird, and it's going to take some getting used to.
You know why it's going to be so weird? It's because for the majority of Edge's career, WWE was his only option. And you know what? He actually did say in his promo that he talked to his little daughters, and 9-year-old Lyric was the one who said, who gave him the advice, I think you should be with Uncle Jay and have fun. You know? Uncle Jay, of course, being Christian Cage, his best friend since day one. They came up in WWE together. And after seeing that promo between those two on Dynamite, man, I'm into that feud. And if Edge versus Christian is announced one-on-one for Full Gear, if Christian loses the TNT title before that, that is enough for me to buy a ticket. I will tell you that much.
Adam Copeland.
I'm sorry, Adam Copeland. Again, it's going to be very weird. It's going to be for us to get used to. And let me address this too. For, you know, that was a very eloquently put speech Tomas just gave about, you know, how Edge has been so important to us in WWE. And both of us are so happy for the guy. Keep in mind, neither one of us are saying he betrayed WWE. Because that is not the case at all. That is not the case at all. I have seen so many fucking people on Twitter being like, oh, Edge is a traitor. There's YouTube shorts saying like, oh, Edge, how could he do this to the company that brought him up? I have something on Twitter here that I'd like to read to you guys. This is the whole post that Adam Copeland posted. And I quote, as some of you may now know, I'm no longer with WWE. My new home is AEW. I'm excited. Whole new roster. Some familiar faces that I wanted to work with again and a whole set of first ever matches. New challenges. And if you followed my career, you know that's what I've always been driven by. But first and foremost, I want to address my 25 years with WWE. I love WWE and appreciate everything the company did for me. Always have, always will. They put me on the map, gave me amazing opportunities, and through hard work on both ends, I've been supplied with a wonderful life. Hell, WWE helped me meet the woman I'd start my family with. Sometimes relationships just grow apart, and I feel that WWE and I have just outgrown each other. I wanted to do more. They didn't have much more for me to do. Simple as that, and that's okay. I'll still be watching and still be supporting all of my friends there. I don't buy into this odd mentality of one company or the other. It's weird. If you took offense to that, take a walk, get some fresh air, and soak up some sunshine. It's wrestling. An amazing gig, but still, it's wrestling. Relax. It's supposed to be fun. And it's just a segment of the fans, not most fans, and definitely not the performers. Within the industry, we all know that more choices is better for everyone and pushes us all to be better. As a wrestling fan, which I still am, it's exciting that there's viable companies providing wrestling on national and worldwide platforms. If you're actually a fan of wrestling and not acronyms, that should make you happy too. I guess what I'm trying to say is this. If you've appreciated my work, you still can, no matter what the initials are, because I'll still be busting my ass every time I'm out there. This ride isn't over just yet. Just try to have fun, like it should be. Because trust me, I'll be having fun every time I'm out there in an AEW ring. Let's go. I couldn't have put it any better. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Adam Copeland did not betray WWE. Yes, he moved over to the other side. That is going to happen in a competition like this. You're gonna see defections like this, and defections might be the wrong term, like probably a negative connotation there, but this should be exciting. You know, like shout out to good mic work. I watched his reaction to Adam Copeland's debut, and he reacted like he was like a little kid again. You know, I loved it. I love this debut. I don't know about you, Tomas, but I'm all for it. I am all for it.
It's just gonna take some getting used to. That's all.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some getting used to.
No, and I'm not saying it isn't. It is very, very, very weird to call him by his real name and not Edge after all this time. But I'm gonna enjoy the ride while I can, because who knows how long Edge has left in the ring? Who knows? I'm sorry, Adam Copeland.
Again.
Adam Copeland, All Elite.
It's gonna take some getting used to. And, yeah, I don't know. It's a very weird feeling. And again, I'm trying to be as respectful and, again, because, Adam Copeland is right. Everything he said is right. It's just, again, if it was any other wrestler, and we've seen a lot of those, like the new age of wrestling, a lot of wrestlers we've been watching in our adult lives. Yeah, it's easy. It's just, again, someone that's been in WWE and a part of my life since I was 8 years old. It's just very, very strange.
I'm with you, man. He's been a part of my life. He's been on my TV screen since I was 6 years old. Can you believe that?
WWE is my father. No, damn it. I should not make that a mall. I shouldn't make this analogy. I'm going to anyway. It's like WWE is my father and AEW is my stepfather. I don't have a stepfather in real life. Let me just say that now.
Right. Right, yeah, but that's it.
I shouldn't be talking about fathers.
Christian's gonna come after you. Oh, you have a father, you say? You have a father, you say?
Christian Cage just entered the chat. Oh my God.
Oh, Christian Cage is in the waiting room. Oh shit, let me admit it.
Christian Cage would like to know your location.
Fucking love this. Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to see how this story unfolds. I can't wait to see what Adam Copeland does in AEW. Can't wait to see all the matches that we get now. Adam Copeland versus Bryan Danielson again. Adam Copeland versus Chris Jericho in another. I know that's crazy to say that right now. Adam Copeland versus Samoa Joe. We've never seen that before. Adam Copeland versus Luchasaurus, as we're going to see next week. Adam Copeland versus Adam Cole, baby. Adam Copeland versus, I could keep going down the list of everybody on the roster, but point being, you get the drift. Adam Copeland's going to put on some bangers for us over here. So, yeah, that's all I got. I'm done. I'm done.
I think I was a little harsh on this pay-per-view. Looking at it now and now talking about it, I liked the latter half of this pay-per-view a lot more than, the former half. Mm-hmm. I feel like the first half of the pay-per-view had a lot of filler and had a lot of booking decisions I didn't agree with. But once we got to Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page, that was really fucking good. Danielson and Sabre Jr. was really good. The tag team title match was really good. The main event was really good. So I'm more comfortable giving this show a solid 7.
Okay.
Again, I just want Tony Khan to pump the brakes a little with these pay-per-views, space them out a little more, maybe condense them a little, and again, get that fucking streaming deal secured, because I am tired of paying $50 for every single one of these pay-per-views.
Yeah. I'm going to go 8.5. I'm going to go 8.5. I'm definitely saying this is in the upper half of AEW pay-per-views. Certainly better than Double or Nothing this year. Oh my God. I mean, do I say this is better than All In? Like, because I feel like, I mean, at least this show does not have CM Punk on it. All In does. I mean, and to everybody who is still
event of All In.
MJF versus Adam Cole. Yeah, no, I get it. But yeah, I dug it. I mean, aside from Double or Nothing, AEW has been putting out good pay-per-views this year. So
they have been.
They really have been. So can't wait for Full Gear. If I get to attend that show, I think it'll be even more fun for me. But let us know what you thought of WrestleDream down in the comments. What matches do you want to see Adam Copeland have in All Elite Wrestling? What did you think of the debut? Because I clearly loved it. I thought it was freaking awesome. But hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up as well. That would be much appreciated. Tomas and I will be watching Fastlane together this weekend. We're going to be going to Big Time Wrestling tomorrow. Legends Never Die, the 27th anniversary show. I'm going to be meeting Mick Foley after the show. It's going to be a really fun time. Kratos versus Big Fonz. That should be a fun match for sure. But yeah, so stay tuned for much more content to come and commence that back talk, guys. Take care.